Those minor technological glitches.
Presented by Still a Frog.
They'd been dating now about 5 months. He was charming and dashing in that Clark Gable sweeps Vivian Lee off her feet kind of way. But it was more how he listened to her, as though she was the only person on the entire planet. On their first date, she somehow knew she wouldn't be long for singlehood when he showed up at her house with a huge telescope. She watched as he lugged the thing from the back of his car. "What's going on?" she asked, confused. "Your neighbor across the street has a hot girlfriend I thought we could watch." "Just kidding," he exclaimed. "The moon kisses Venus tonight," he grinned. "I thought you might like to see it firsthand." He was heading straight into her backyard. They'd met at a party. The chemistry between them was palpable, according to a friend who was apparently clairvoyant. Said friend proceeded to badger them until they agreed to take the next step. Here they were. She followed him out back and watched as he spread a fleece blanket on the ground and then produced, as if by magic, a bottle of wine and a plastic Subway bag. "Hope this Cabernet pairs well with Black Forest ham on multigrain," he said playfully. Taking out hoagies and drinking straight from the bottle on a blanket in her backyard, watching as Venus danced with the moon. Now that was a first date. They were planning to meet at their favorite little dive bar / locals-only pub to celebrate their 5-month anniversary. He did things like that. Super sweet boyfriendy things. Whereas her ex-husband would come home and announce, on their 10-year anniversary, for example, "I didn't want you to have to cook, so I ordered pizza. My gift to you." And she stood there, carefully wrapped Movado watch in hand, stupidly grinning, waiting for the punchline. But alas, no punchline was forthcoming because it wasn't a joke. Although he then produced a 6-pack of Coors Light in cans, as 10 years was traditionally celebrated with aluminum. And of this disappointingly clever literalization, her former husband was quite proud. For her 150th day anniversary with Mr. Takes the Prize for Creative First Dates, she also had another reason to celebrate. She'd just gotten a promotion. Having him congratulatorily wrap her in one of his great big bear hugs, that was worth more than the promotion itself. She'd arrived first. He looked a bit agitated walking up to the corner booth. "You okay?" she asked. Yeah, fine. Hey, I tried to call you a few times earlier. Did you not get it?" His voice was somewhat shaky. "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I was in a meeting and turned the ringer off. I must have totally forgotten to turn it back on." Sure enough, taking out her cell and glancing at the screen, she saw that there were several missed calls. "Yep, there you are. I am so sorry." No big thing," he replied, though clearly he was still on edge. "I really am sorry. I didn't not call you back on purpose. I just forgot about the ringer." "It's really no big thing," he said defensively, but she could see that it was. She'd ordered 2 Cabernets, and then she told him about the promotion. He was thrilled, though his enthusiasm seemed oddly reserved. She couldn't quite put her finger on it. He was definitely happy, gushing about how deserving she was. But no, it was just the excitement of the day. She was simply overreading. They went back to her place afterward, and once again, everything was absolute bliss. In fact, the next morning, he cooked her a huge kick-off to your new job breakfast, complete with hash browns and his special eggs Benedict, heavy on the hollandaise. "Oh, hon, I'm so sorry, but I have to leave earlier now." "Earlier? Why?" he asked. "The new position has me at our West Side campus. It's like an extra 20-minute drive. I'm sorry," she explained as she hurriedly shoved folders and devices into her briefcase. "I really do have to go. Just put some foil on it. I'll have it when I get home. It smells amazing." She went to kiss him goodbye, but he was heading toward the garbage. "No, don't throw it out." "It's okay. Eggs really don't keep well." He attempted a half smile. Her new role was demanding, much more responsibility, but she thrived on the challenge. At the end of week 1, she was adrenalized with the excitement of the job. She decided to stop after work and grab some champagne and Taco Bell. Perhaps this would be their next generation tradition, she giggled to herself. She expected him by 7. Not until 7:30, however, did he knock on her door. "Hey, you don't need to knock," she playfully teased. "Oh, yeah, sorry." He appeared distracted, more so as the evening wore on, and he didn't even seem to acknowledge her playful riff on the champagne Taco Bell versus Cabernet Subway dynamic. He loved things like that. As she was cleaning chalupa wrappers off the coffee table, he somewhat unsteadily began, "I tried to call a few times today. Were you in meetings or something?" "I didn't see any calls from you. Are you sure?" "Of course I'm sure. I do know that I called you," he retorted, a bit abruptly. "That's weird." She went for her phone, but there was no sign of a missed call from him. The only thing on there was a 5-minute voicemail from her mother, probably complaining yet again about the increase in her Medicare. "I also texted. I suppose you didn't get that either?" he asked, sounding irritated. "No, I swear, look." She thrust her phone toward him. Now she was starting to feel a little defensive. He was accusing her of what here? Lying? Not being able to adequately harness enough cell tower power? Who knows? Maybe in the location I'm at now, the signal strength is weak. Eyeing her skeptically, he grunted a dismissive, okay. Just a few minutes later, he begged off her special dessert, explaining that he had a project to finish up for work. "Sure, maybe tomorrow night," she said, deflated and confused. The next day, definitely not as smooth as her previous run. A presentation she'd sent as an attachment from her phone was inadvertently converted to Japanese only, and then lost altogether somewhere in the impossible-to-understand cloud. To top it off, the wheel on her desk chair broke, sending her in a tornadic fit of papers and coffee onto the floor. And all the while, in the back of her mind, she kept hearing her boyfriend's accusatory tone. She actually checked her phone every 20 minutes to make sure there were no miscommunications. Not a very productive way to spend the day. Come lunchtime, she stepped outside in order to get some much-needed air. The picnic table was deserted. Thank God she wasn't particularly up for conversation. Spreading a napkin down, she noticed a familiar SUV parked across the street. Was that same color, same roof rack, and bull bar across the front? She stood to get a better look, but the vehicle quickly sped off. What the hell? 5 o'clock rolled around, and it was beyond time to put the day behind her. A bubble bath and a tumbler full of wine had her name on it. But first, she had a call to make. "Hey," she said, "were you at my office today?" "Yeah," was all he offered. "Why, may I ask?" "Are you sleeping with one of the guys there?" "I'm sorry, what did you just say?" "You heard me," he snipped. No, and is that what you were doing? Trying to see if I was screwing some guy behind the bushes?" This was mind-boggling, not to mention a beyond ridiculous conversation. "I called again, and surprise, surprise, no answer," he mocked. "I never got a call. Do you want me to send you a screenshot of my history? I'll do it if that's what you need." "Whatever you say," he tossed off. "I'm serious. Nothing from you came through." "I have to go," she said. "I can't handle this right now." He was actually mad. Maybe this new location had piss-poor reception. Maybe Sprint was just a crappy cell company. Who the hell knew? She scrolled frenetically through her calls and texts. Of course, nothing. She had a massive headache and just wanted to crawl into bed. The next morning, groggy as hell and tragically sleep-deprived, she set about going through the motions of her day. Her cell, lying face up on her desk, taunted her with its hit-or-miss reliability. "Can you hear me now?" She wanted to scream at the stupid thing. That which apparently stood in the way of true love was a fucking phone. She thought about calling him that morning, but didn't want to chance missing him, only to have him try and call back and her missing that, and then, oh dear Lord, what her life had devolved into. So it looked like she would be spending the day engaged in a staring contest with a phone, seeing who would blink first. "Here I am," her addled brain silently yelled. "Call me now. I'm waiting." She was losing grip. But he wouldn't call. No, it'd be a text, actually. And "I'm so sorry, mea culpa, multi-pane text. Luck of the draw. This one she actually received. "I was stupid. I apologize. When you never answered my calls, I got worried, then hurt, then jealous. I didn't trust you, and I don't know why. I should have never gotten angry. I know it wasn't your fault. I love you, and I just want to spend my life with you. I know that now. I want us to move in together. Let's talk after work. Hope this comes through, LOL. She read it no less than 17 times. He wanted them to live together. And once upon a time, that'd been exactly what she wanted too. He was meeting her at her place after work. Thinking about what he'd written, she was excited, nervous, confused. She wasn't sure what she was. First, though, she needed a shower. The steam and the water helping to center her after what already seemed like an inordinately long week, and it was only Wednesday. She thought she heard the door. He was early. "Is that you?" she called from the bathroom. No answer. She stepped out to grab the bottle of shampoo she'd left on the counter. He was standing in her bedroom, checking a phone. Her phone. That undeniable pink and blue polka dot case. "What are you doing?" she questioned, wrapping herself in a towel. He looked up but clearly didn't know what to say. She shook her head. "All you had to do was ask." "I don't think this is going to work," she said solemnly.
Ribbit.